Imagine driving alone on a dark forest road when suddenly you're trapped. Two cars box you in, and five masked men drag you out of your vehicle. You're 73 years old, on your knees, and a metal pipe is about to come crashing down on your head. But in that moment, something extraordinary happens. The thieves are about to learn that this helpless old man isn't as alone as they thought. In fact, he has some very special friends. Friends that would change everything in the next few seconds. What happened next would not only save his life, but reveal a secret he'd been keeping for 5 years. This is the incredible true story of how one man's hidden acts of kindness returned to protect him when he needed it most. The year was 2018, and in a small Serbian village, 73-year-old Dragan had a secret. Every evening, without fail, he would load his old Zastava car with mysterious packages and disappear into the forest. His neighbors whispered among themselves, wondering what this quiet old farmer could be doing out there all alone. But on this particular autumn evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, Dragan's routine would take a terrifying turn. One that would finally expose his 5-year secret to the world. The forest seemed different that evening. The shadows stretched longer across the dirt road and the fallen leaves whispered beneath his tires. Maybe it was instinct or maybe just the growing darkness, but something felt wrong. Dragan's weathered hands gripped the steering wheel tighter as his headlights cut through the gloom. Then it happened. Around a sharp bend, a black SUV appeared, parked sideways across the narrow road. Dragan's heart hammered against his ribs as he slammed on the brakes. But before he could even think about reversing, another vehicle pulled up behind him. He was trapped. In the harsh glare of headlights, 5 figures emerged from the shadows. Their faces were hidden behind ski masks, and the metal pipes in their hands gleamed with malicious intent. This wasn't a chance encounter. They had been watching, waiting, planning. "Out of the car, old man." The command cut through the evening air as rough hands yanked open Dragan's door. His legs shook as they dragged him onto the cold ground, forcing him to his knees. The autumn chill bit through his thin jacket, but fear had already frozen him to the core. What did these men want? And more importantly, what had they observed that made them target this seemingly ordinary old farmer? "Please," Dragan said, his voice steadier than he felt. "I have nothing valuable." But even as the words left his mouth, he knew they wouldn't believe him. After all, who drives into the forest at the same time every single day just to carry nothing? The thieves tore through his car like wolves, throwing his belongings onto the forest floor. But instead of finding money or valuables, all they discovered were bags of dog food and wrapped packages from the butcher shop. Their frustration grew with each empty container they tossed aside. The leader, his breath visible in the cold air, grabbed Dragan's collar. Through the eye holes of his ski mask, his eyes burned with anger and suspicion. "Nobody makes daily trips into the forest just to carry garbage," he snarled. "Where's the money? What are you really hiding?" Dragan remained silent. What could he say? The truth seemed too simple, too innocent for these men to believe. And maybe, just maybe, staying quiet would protect more than just himself. One of the men raised his metal pipe, its surface catching the gleam of headlights. Dragan closed his eyes, preparing for the blow that would surely come. In that moment, time seemed to stop, and the forest held its breath. But then, a sound broke through the tension, a low, rumbling growl. The thieves turned to see a single dog step out of the darkness, murky, an old brown mixed breed with gray around his muzzle. The men laughed, their fear momentarily forgotten. "Is this your protection, old man? One mangy mutt?" Their laughter echoed through the trees. But something was happening in the darkness beyond the headlights' reach. Something that would turn their mockery into terror. Another growl joined the first, then another and another. The thieves' laughter died in their throats as shadows began moving between the trees. In the beam of the headlights, eyes appeared, first a few, then more, until the forest seemed alive with glowing points of light. The men's heads swiveled left and right, counting the pairs of eyes that surrounded them. What they were witnessing was the revelation of Dragan's secret, a secret 5 years in the making. This quiet old farmer wasn't just feeding one stray dog. His daily missions into the forest, his mysterious packages, the regular timing of his visits, it all had a purpose far more meaningful than anyone could have guessed. 11 dogs of various sizes and breeds emerged from the darkness, forming a protective circle around their benefactor. These weren't just random strays anymore. Through years of Dragan's quiet kindness, they had become something more. A family, bound together by loyalty to the one human who had shown them compassion. When Morky made his move, snapping at an attacker's leg, the forest erupted into chaos. The pack moved with surprising coordination, their attack sending the would-be robbers scrambling in panic toward their vehicles. The sound of car doors slamming and tires screeching on dirt echoed through the trees as they fled, leaving Dragan surrounded by his four-legged guardians. As his racing heart began to slow, the dogs gathered close, checking on him with gentle nudges and worried whines. For 5 years he had been feeding these strays in secret, too ashamed to tell his neighbors about his daily mission. He never imagined that his simple acts of kindness would one day save his life. The story spread through the village like wildfire. The mysterious old man who disappeared into the forest every evening was now known by a new name, the guardian of the strays. Though perhaps, as many observed, it was the other way around. They were his guardians, a loyal family created through years of quiet compassion. The villagers' judgment turned to admiration. Some even began contributing to his feeding program, ensuring that Dragan's forest family would always have enough to eat. What had started as one man's secret mission of mercy had transformed into a community effort. Today, Dragan still makes his evening drives into the forest, but now he does so with pride. He no longer hides his purpose or feels shame for his mission. In his part of the forest, kindness keeps watch through the eyes of a loyal pack that he never meant to create, but who now consider him their own. His story reminds us that compassion, even when hidden from the world, has a way of coming back to us when we need it most. Sometimes the family we choose, or the family that chooses us, can be the strongest one of all. Music gentle fade out.